Torah speaks about kosher animals and the signs you need to look for to be able to eat an animal. And the Torah also speaks about the kashrus of fish, which fish we're allowed to eat. And the Torah says there are two signs to be able to eat fish. You got to make sure the fish have fins and scales. Go to your fish tank, pick out a fish that has fins and scales and enjoy it. But if it doesn't have fins or scales, not kosher. Now the Talmud teaches us that if you look for a fish to eat and you find a fish that has fins but doesn't have scales, obviously it's not kosher, because the Torah says you need both fins and scales. However, says the Talmud, if you find fish that have scales, you take it out of the water, you see fish with scales but no fins, you're allowed to eat them. Because even though you don't see the fins, there's no such thing. Every fish that have scales at a certain point had fins, but on the way out of the water they probably shed the fins. Now that's very interesting, because the Torah says to be able to eat fish you need both. Now the Talmud comes and says, don't worry, it's fine only if you have scales, because they must have had fins. But here's the question. Do you know how many species of fish there are out there? If you ever been to an aquarium, you would know there are tens of thousands of species of fish. They're still finding more every day. They find more fish that have never been found before. And here the Talmud, which was written a couple of thousand years ago, they wrote that it's okay. As long as it has scales, you know, it had a certain time fins. How did they know in primitive times what fish have fins and scales, and to give this blanket statement? You know, the Torah, the written Torah written by God, says you need to find both. Now when the Talmud writes the book, and they want us to believe that this is also from God, why are you writing something which we could contradict you? How could the Talmud write such a blanket statement that every single fish that have scales must have had fins at a certain point? But the answer is, it's not the rabbi made me do it. How many times have we said that? Okay, the Talmud said so, but who's that rabbi to tell me what to do? I think God wants something else from me. The written Torah and the oral law all come directly from Hashem. God gave the inspiration to write every single word of the written Torah and the oral law. And therefore anything you find in the Talmud or the Mishnah comes directly from Hashem. And therefore it's pretty obvious they could write such a statement, because it's not them saying it, it's Hashem. And the creator of all species of fish could say with a certainty that there are only fish that have fins and scales, or only fins. But the ones with scales at a certain time had fins too. It's not the rabbis, it's God. And once again, you find yourself saying, the rabbi made me do it. No, it was Hashem. Please remember, everything we find in the Mishnah and the Talmud, whether we understand it or not, it's irrelevant. Because just like things which are godly written in the Torah, you say, hey, if God said that, I better do it. If it's in the Mishnah or the Talmud, it comes directly from Hashem, and we better keep it as Jews. Thank you, and good Shabbos.
Shabbos, Shabbos.